Sorry, it's so loud. Turn it off. Okay, so good morning. Welcome to your gentle yoga practice on the first day of fall equinox. And so this is a day where we have this innate sense of balance. And I've been talking about balance in the past few weeks of classes leading up to this, where there's this equal amount of day and night. And traditionally, this would be the time of the second harvest, where we would celebrate all of the labors of our, well, the fruits of our labors, I should say, from the season, and prepare for winter as the days start to get darker. And we start to go more into that time of night. And so what this now asks of us is really to look at our lives in a way that we can look back. I would compare this to astrology. In astrology, the equinox is at the descendant, which is the opposite line of the ascendant, which is your rising sign, where the sun rises and then where the sun sets. And so if we're poised in this position, we have the ability to look back over everything that's happened so far in our year, in our lives, this sense of balance of where we've been and where we're going. Kind of like looking off into the sunset and appreciating everything that's happened during that day, and yet preparing for the second half of the day, which is the night. Does that make sense? So this is a time where we can really illuminate and see the areas of our life that are out of balance. And like Christine said, kind of get back into those routines and prepare ourselves for what's going to best support us throughout the dark of the winter. So we'll work with that a little bit in our practice today. Take a nice comfortable seat. You can move the flesh away from your sitting bones and sit up nice and tall. Close your eyes. This time of the equinox is ushering us into the second half of our year. And it's a powerful time where we can see everything above and below that horizon, what's aligned and the patterns that aren't serving us. And our work is to deeply acknowledge what we find when we observe ourselves, our lives, our circumstances, to truly see and then to deeply acknowledge and hold space for all of it. Everything that's come before and brought us to this moment, while also remaining open to change. So in a way, this time of year is this turning point. Take a moment now and notice the parts of your body that are on the ground. You could imagine that you're growing roots deep and wide into the earth beneath you, and feel that your bones, your hips, your legs are heavy and grounding into the support that the earth beneath you offers. As you take a breath in, lengthen up your spine, lengthen through both side bodies, take your shoulders up, back, and down, and reach the crown of your head up towards the sky. Here, very subtly lean back. This little act of leaning back not only aligns the body, but also reminds us that we have this invisible support that we can lean into, that we're not alone. Welcome your breath. And begin to deepen each inhale and each exhale. Feeling the rise and fall of your belly and your chest. Perhaps you're at some sort of a turning point in your life. Perhaps there's big change and major shifts occurring. Or maybe it's just more subtle, another season. This is, as we move into the second half of the year, we start to move into the process of aging in the life cycle of the seasons. When we look around, we see this natural shedding as the leaves fall from the trees, and there's an energy of letting go. So just for a moment now, see if there's anything you could let go of that you've been carrying, whether it's a mental weight or a thin layer of tension that you're holding in the body. Can you relax your tongue in your mouth and smooth out your forehead? Widen the corners of your eyes and let your eyes descend back into their sockets. Relax your jaw, and just for a few breaths, could you release and let go of anything unnecessary to this moment that's not serving you? Any stress, any worry, anxiety, overthinking. Maybe it's grief or sadness. And then please bring your hands together in front of your heart. I invite you to set an intention for your practice today. Perhaps it's just to illuminate any areas of imbalance. Maybe it's just to use your practice as a conduit to innately find more balance in the body through movement and breath as we practice together today. Whatever it is, hold your intention here close to your heart. We'll begin our class with 3 cleansing breaths. Take a deep breath in. Let it go with a sigh. 2 more like that. And gently bow your head to your heart, sealing in your intention. And slowly open your eyes, release your hands. Please go ahead and recline onto your back, lay down, and have your strap nearby. If you're practicing at home, you could use a yoga strap, a scarf, anything long that you can wrap over your foot. And then you'll come to lay down and stretch out. Take a full body stretch here. Reach from your fingertips to your toes, arms stretch overhead. Finding a little more length in your body and noticing as you lay down on the ground if any imbalances kind of show themselves with your skeletal structure. Take another full breath in. As you exhale, hug your right knee into your chest. And here, really kind of squeeze the leg in, put some pressure onto the top of the thigh, the hip flexor. If your knee is tracking over to the side, more towards your shoulder, hug it back towards the midline so that the knee maybe lines up with the right side of your neck. Notice if you're rounding your shoulders forward, can you take them back and down? Keep the chest and collarbone open. Breathe. And then go ahead and take your strap and lace it over the ball of your right foot. Extend your right leg up towards the sky. Take your straps in your right hand and then slide your hand down the straps until you can get your shoulder blade on your back, plug the arm bone in, you're moving your leg towards straight and press up through your heel. Bring your left hand to the top of your left thigh. Encourage this part of your leg to root down, to stay stable and steady. Take a breath in. As you exhale, gently open your leg out to the right. Notice if your weight starts to roll over to the right and see if you could anchor down more through the left side of the body. Are you holding your breath? Are you gripping your jaw? Grinding your teeth? Where does your attention show itself? And can you consciously release that? Inhale your leg back up to center. Change hands on your strap. Take your right arm out to the side in a cactus shape or straight out in line with your shoulder. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, guide your leg across your body all the way over to the left. Here you'll roll onto your outer left hip. The goal is to try to get your low back perpendicular to the ground, straight up and down. So everyone, take your right hand and feel your low back and see if you can find a little more of that perpendicular shape here. And then slide your hand over to your hip flexor, to the top of your thigh, that crease right where your leg meets your pelvis. And notice if this part is hiking up towards your rib cage. Can you press it down and away? And then you could release your arm back. Inhale your leg back up through center. Exhale, go ahead and release. Lower your right leg down to the ground and just pause here and see if you feel a difference side to side. Sometimes it can feel quite dramatic. So here we're looking to find balance. Notice the imbalances. Where are we misaligned? And can we make some subtle changes to find more balance? Take an inhale, reach your arms overhead. Exhale, hug your left knee into your chest. Same thing here, you want to put a little pressure, maybe more than you think. Take your shoulders back and down. Keep the knee drawing in towards the midline. Breathe. Notice again where you start to tense or tighten up and see if you could soften. Keep your breath full and steady. And then go ahead and take your strap over the ball of your left foot. Extend your left leg up towards the sky. Take the straps in your left hand, slide your hand down on the straps until you can get your shoulder blade securely on your back. That arm bone plugs in. Press up through your heel. Take your right hand to the top of your right thigh or the right side of the pelvis. Root this part of your body down. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, open your leg out to the left. Couple of breaths here. See if you could keep your weight level between your left and right side. Couple more breaths. Inhale your leg back up to center. Change hands on the straps. Take your left arm out to the side in cactus shape or straight out in line with the shoulder. Breathe in. As you exhale, guide your leg across your body over to the right. You'll roll all the way onto the outer right hip. Yes, the pinky toe of your right foot comes down to the ground. You could even pick up your hips and inch them over to the left a little bit. And then here, you can bring your hand to your low back, seeing if it's moving towards being more perpendicular to the ground. And then slide your hand to the top of your thigh and hip and press that away, making more length and space in your side body, from your hip to your armpit. Couple of breaths here. Inhale, come back up through center. Exhale, go ahead and release your left leg down to the ground. You can set the strap off to the side. Bend your knees, place your feet on the ground, and take the soles of your feet together, your knees wide. Place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly in Supta Baddha Konasana. Give yourself permission to just relax and breathe here. If this is too much on your hips, you could place blocks behind your thighs for a little support. So one of the imbalances I've been noticing in my life lately is just this activation of my nervous system. Kind of like a low grade anxiety or subtle stress that sometimes I don't even notice is there, but then at the end of the night, I realize that my jaw feels like cement. I've just been holding this tension. And to see kind of like, okay, what can we do about this, right? Sometimes we can't change the stressors in our life. And in my situation, we just have this construction happening. There's a lot of people in my house. It's like a stress that we signed up for. And yet here it is. So the first step is always, can we illuminate where there's an imbalance? Can we shine a light of awareness on something in our life that isn't serving us? And then how do we shift it? How do we change it? Maybe it's that we show up for yoga to reset ourselves. Maybe it's that we take some deep breaths to try to regulate the nervous system and let the brain know that everything is safe and okay. What are the tools that we can turn to create a little more ease, a little more balance, a little less stress? Inhale your knees back up to center. Take your feet wider than your hips and knock your knees against each other. Constructive rest.
one of the tools that I am turning to in this stressful environment that my home has become on certain days is just to leave. Like, oh, okay, I have the privilege of being able to get in the car and take my kids and go. So sometimes it's removing ourselves from a situation, if that's possible. Sometimes it's working within that situation to try to bring a little more balance back. Notice here if there's any area of imbalance that you can make some kind of minor adjustment to, whether it's the weight distribution on your sacrum and low back through your pelvis, whether it's with your mind, letting go of the thinking mind, focusing more on the breath. And then hug your knees into your chest. Go ahead and roll to your right side, come all the way up to sit, find a comfortable cross-legged position. We'll move through a few rounds of breath of joy, one of my favorites. So here you'll bring your hands to heart center. And as you inhale, interlace your fingers and just lift your elbow tips. As you exhale, press your palms away and round your back. Inhale, reach the arms up, stretch up, look up. Exhale, float your arms down and interlace your hands behind your back. Inhale, stretch your arms away, lift your chest, look up again. And exhale, hands come back to heart center. So we'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, interlace your fingers, elbow tips lift. Exhale, round your back, press your palms away. Inhale, stretch the arms up. Exhale, float the arms down, interlace your hands behind you. Inhale, stretch the arms away, lift your chest. Exhale, hands back to heart center. 1 more, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Good, come to hands and knees. Look through a few rounds of cat and cow. You can have your knees if that feels better for them. Bring your wrists right under your shoulders, spread your fingers evenly wide with your index fingers pointing straight ahead. As you inhale, arch your spine, take your gaze up, little back bend. As you exhale, round your back. Cat stretch. So move with your breath, finding this undulation of the spine. Feel free to pause and breathe into any areas that feel tight. And go ahead and inhale, come back to a neutral spine. Nothing changes in the lower half of your body. Keep your hips right over your knees. So the tendency is for this to happen, for the hips to sink back towards the heels. You want to keep the hips right over the knees so that your femur bones are perpendicular to the ground. And then walk your arms out so that the upper half of your body is in down dog. So this is called a puppy stretch. And it's surprisingly challenging. Draw your low belly in, press your hands down into the ground, and resist your arms away from your mat. So lift the forearms, armpits lift. Couple of breaths here, reach the crown of your head towards your thumbs. Walk your hands back in. This time, bring your wrists under your shoulders. Nothing changes in the upper half of your body. Plug the arm bones in by melting your heart down to your mat. Tuck your toes under if they're not already. Draw your navel towards your spine, so you're engaging your core here, trying to. And keep that as you hover your knees just an inch off the ground in this floating table. Breathe. Couple more breaths. And then downward facing dog. In down dog, take a look back at your legs. First at your feet. Your heels should be hidden behind your feet. So if you can see your heels, you need to reposition your feet so that they're more parallel. Then take a look at your kneecaps. There's 4 corners of your kneecaps. See if they're all pointing straight ahead. Hug your shins in towards each other. Move your legs towards straight as your heels start to ground down towards the earth, and then press your thighs back. Make more space in your back and your spine. Crown of the head again moves towards your thumbs. Inhale, come forward to a high plank, high push-up. Exhale, knees down. Bring your chest slightly forward, so your chest is going to move in between your thumbs, and then bend your elbows straight back. Lower yourself all the way down to the ground. Resist your shoulders away from the earth. Point your toes straight back. Press the tops of your feet down to the ground. Inhale, lift your heart, cobra. And exhale, down dog. Have blocks up at the top of your mat. And then as you inhale, take your right leg to the sky. Exhale, step your foot all the way up in between your hands. It may take a couple of passes to get it there. Right knee is over your right ankle. And then bring your hands up on your blocks. Blocks frame your front foot. So for this, you may find that you need even more height with the blocks. Maybe they come up to their tallest setting. Your feet are on train tracks here. So your foot kind of lines up with, your feet should line up with your sitting bones. Hug your feet in towards each other. And then as you breathe in, straighten your front leg and exhale, bend your knee. So we're just gonna pulse here. Moving towards straight and bending. Try to not let anything change in the back leg. Keep your back thigh pressing up towards the sky. Back leg is straight. And move as slow as you need to. And the next time you bend your front knee, keep it bent. And then we're going to do the same kind of pulsation with the back leg. So take a breath in, take a breath out. I think it works better if you inhale, tap your back knee down, and exhale, press up to straight. But if it works better for you the other way, the exhale down, you can figure out your own breath pattern there. So a few more of those. And then straighten out the back leg. One more stretch here. This time bring your left hand down to the ground. Inhale, sweep your right arm up as you twist. Exhale, release, and step back into downward facing dog. You have three options here. You can stay in down dog, you can flow through vinyasa, or you can find child's pose. We'll all meet back in downward facing dog. And then inhale, left leg lifts to the sky. Exhale, step it all the way up in between your hands. Find your blocks on this side, see that your feet are on those train tracks. Hug your legs in towards each other. And then we'll move through that pulsation here. Inhale, straighten your leg. Exhale, bend your knee, front leg. So nothing changes in your back leg. You keep pressing your back thigh high to the sky, pressing out through your back heel. Just a few more breaths here. And the next time you bend your front knee, pause. Same thing with the back leg this time. So tap your knee down, press it to straight. Just a few more. When your back leg comes to straight, pause here. Bring your right hand down onto the ground. Inhale, sweep your left arm up to twist. Exhale, release, downward facing dog. Same three options here. This time we will all meet in child's pose. In child's pose, knees come wide, big toes touch. Bring your forehead down to the ground. If your forehead doesn't come down to the ground, you can use a block or stack your fists. Melt your heart and breathe. And then walk your hands over to the right until you get a stretch through your left side body. Inhale back through center. Exhale, walk your hands over to the left until you get a stretch through your right side body. And then inhale, come back to center. Find your way back into down dog. Inhale, walk your feet forward to meet your hands. Exhale as you fold, Uttanasana, out over your legs. Inhale, lengthen halfway to a flat back. Exhale, fold in. 2 more times, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bow. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold in. Root down through your feet. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up to the sky this time. And exhale, hands to your heart. Let's take a wide stance on our mat. You guys could face this wall. Extend your arms out in line with your shoulders. Line up your ankles under your wrists. Bring your hands back down to your hips. Turn your right toes to face forward. See that your heel to arch aligned, looks good. And exhale, bend your front knee. If your knee moves past your ankle, you need a little more space. And with the knee stacked right over the ankle, or it could be a little bit behind. Great. Bring the center of your head right over your tailbone. So it kind of takes the whole torso and brings it back in space. Makes the spine nice and long. And then extend your arms out in line with your shoulders. Your hands out in line with your shoulders. Breathe. Gaze out over your right middle finger here in Warrior Two. Then here, flip your front palm, reverse your warrior. Nothing changes with the lower half of your body, and your back hand just slightly touches your back thigh. We're going to move through a little flow here. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, bring your right forearm to your right thigh, extend your left arm out in line with your ear. And then inhale, back up, reverse your warrior. Exhale, side out. Just flowing with your breath. The next time you reverse your warrior, pause here. Press into your front foot, straighten your front leg, keep leaning back. Then inhale, float your arms up to a T. Exhale, reach your fingertips past your toes and find Trikonasana. Your hands can come down to the block outside your front shin. You can gaze up into your top thumb if that's okay on your neck. See if you can lean back just slightly. Put a little bend into your right knee from your left wrist. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to your hips. Turn your right toes in. So feet are back to parallel. Lengthen up through the crown of your head. Keep your shoulder blades on your back. So sternum rises, chest stays broad and expansive. Breathe in, and as you exhale, hinge just from your hips. Fold forward. Your hands could come down to the ground or to your ankles. You could take your peace fingers to your big toes. Inhale, lengthen halfway to a flat back. Take a couple of breaths here. Bring your hands to your hips from the back of your heart. Inhale all the way up. And then we'll do the second side. So you can move your block over. If you used your block, turn your left toes to face out. Find heel to arch alignment. Bend your left knee. So warrior two, second side, center of the head right in line with your tailbone. The knee tracks towards your second toe, gaze out over your left middle finger. Flip your front palm, reverse your warrior. Nothing changes with your legs. Just lean back with your torso. That right hand is gently resting on your thigh. Inhale here, and then exhale, find side angle. Flow with your breath. See if you could keep your legs and your hips really stable and steady. And then flow and ease of movement in the upper body. So this balance that we need in our lives and in our poses of strength and stability, of being rooted and grounded, and also able to move and change and flow and adapt. And the next time you reverse your warrior, pause, press into your front foot, straighten your front leg, reverse triangle here for just a breath or two, and then inhale, float your arms up to a T. Exhale, reach your fingers past your toes, find Trikonasana. This time, put a little bend into your left knee, cartwheel your arms down, pivot your back heel up, and step back into down dog. Optional final vinyasa here. And then whenever you're ready, you'll make your way onto your back. When you lay down on your back, hug your knees into your chest. You can give yourself a little massage here, making circles on your low back. Or rocking side to side. And then bring both feet back down to the ground. Feet are parallel, sitting both hip distance apart. Cross your left ankle over the top of your right thigh. And here, maybe this is a good place for you to pause and hold your pose. Or you could pick up your right foot and interlace your hands behind your thigh or on top of your shin. And draw the shape of your legs in a little closer to your body. So this is a reclined pigeon. Check in to see a couple of things. One is the weight shifting and pulling over to your left side. Can you level that out and find more balance? Notice if there's a rounding happening in your low back. So can you feel your low back flat on the ground or touching the earth? See if you could move your sitting bones down towards the ground and make a natural arch in your low back so that a little bug, friendly, benign type of bug could crawl underneath you. Go ahead and release your right foot down to the ground, but keep the shape of your legs. So we're gonna try this little maneuver. Take your arms out to cactus. Take a breath in, and keeping your legs in the shape that they are, in this pigeon shape, figure four. You'll inhale, and as you exhale, take your right knee over to the right until the sole of your left foot comes down to the ground or close to it. Yeah, we'll just there. You can look out over your left shoulder. Inhale back up to center. And then exhale, both knees are going to come over to the left. You can keep pressing your left heel onto the outer right thigh. Assist in that T-band stretch and look out over your right shoulder. Inhale back up to center. And exhale, release. We'll switch sides here. So right ankle crosses on top of the left thigh. Decide where or how this pose wants to be on the second side. So maybe you stay just like this, or you can pick up your left foot and interlace your hands behind your thigh. If you do, try not to be at the back of the knee. Slide your hands down so that you're more in the belly of your hamstrings. Level out the weight distribution in your pelvis on the mat. See if you could find that or move towards more of a natural curve in the low back, sitting bones roll down towards the mat. And breathe. You can imagine that you're breathing space and a cool breeze right into your hip. I often like to visualize it as opening up windows in a dark, dusty attic. You can sweep out the cobwebs. Go ahead and release your left foot back down to the ground. Take your arms out to cactus. Take a breath in here, and as you exhale, you bring your left knee over to the left until your right foot comes down to the ground. Gaze out over your right shoulder. Inhale, come on back to center, and then exhale, take both knees over to the right. You can press your right heel gently down onto the outside of your left thigh to help with that IT band stretch down the outer left hip to the knee. Maybe you look out over your left shoulder to complete the twist here. Inhale back up to center. Go ahead and release, hug both knees back into your chest. One more little massage on your low back. Maybe things feel more balanced and even here in the pelvis. Maybe there's still some tight spots. Then take your knees wide, bring the soles of your feet up towards the sky. Find happy baby. You can grab onto the pinky toe edges of your feet. Hug your knees back into your chest. Roll to your right side. Come on up. You'll set up for a restorative Shavasana. And if you don't want to do restorative Shavasana, you can do any kind of Shavasana that you so desire. If you're doing this one, you'll take your blocks and bring them like this at the top of your mat. So one block at its highest setting, and then the next block a notch down. And then you'll take your bolster and prop it up on this little ramp. And take a blanket and you'll fold it in half and bring it like a T across the top of your mat for your head. And then you'll take another blanket. Everybody has more than one. This one, you'll open up so that it's just folded in half once with the fringe down. And then you'll roll that up. So it makes a nice long noodle roll. Okay, once you have that, you'll come to sit. The key for this is to sit with your low back close to the bolster. So I see people start too far away and then you're not going to be comfortable because there's going to be this space, right? You want the low back supported. So you want to scooch back to the edge of the bolster. Soles of your feet are going to come together. We're going to be in a Supta Baddha Konasana, but first bring your knees up. Take your blanket roll on top of your ankles. Pull the ends back. Little taut here. And then you're just going to kind of shimmy those ends underneath your thighs and then let your knees drop open so that the blanket should kind of hold your legs. Yes, good. Then hands come back, lengthen your spine. Go ahead and recline down, and it should feel like a little bit. Yeah? Yeah. Okay, good. Shouldn't feel like Okay. I will offer Reiki in Shavasana. So if you don't want Reiki, just raise a hand and I will pass you by. Otherwise, you'll feel my hands on your head. Is anybody sensitive to smell? I use a little essential oil. Yes. All right, so let's all take a deep breath in. And then let it go with a sigh. Let your body be heavy. And let your support underneath you hold you. Allow yourself to let go, to lean in, to let yourself be supported. Relax your tongue in your mouth Allow it to get heavy and wide on the lower palate. Make a little space between your lower jaw and your upper jaw. Smooth out your forehead and your brow. Widen the corners of your eyes and relax your eyes back. Give yourself permission here to fully surrender into Shavasana. Slowly and gently begin to deepen your breath. Draw awareness back into your body, letting your fingers, toes. Inhale your knees back up to center. And then being very mindful that you're on your props. Come to rest on your right side. You could stay up on your bolster configuration. Move it off of your mat. Just lay down. In your own time, knowing that there is no rush. You'll make your way back up to find a comfortable seat. And once you arrive seated upright, close your eyes once more and draw your awareness inward. Bring your hands together at heart center, palms pressed in prayer. Take a moment to honor yourself for your practice today, for the innate balance that yoga brings to us as it weaves together the mind, the body, the breath, the soul. So honor yourself for showing up today, holding space for yourself. Honor one another for the gift of being together in practice and community. Call back your intention that you set for yourself. Feel free to modify it to use for the rest of your day or your week. And then we'll end our class and seal in our intentions with a final cleansing breath. Please take a deep breath in and let it go. Gently bow your head to your heart. The light within me recognizes and honors this very same light in each one of you. Namaste. Namaste. Thank you all so much for your practice. Enjoy the rest of your rainy day and weekend. And hopefully I'll see you next week.
Thank you so much.